Hey guys, this is David from theunlocker.com, and today we're going to do a quick review of the HTC HD7S. We have here HTC's newest Windows Phone device for AT&T, the HTC HD7S. Now I know what you're thinking, that phone looks oddly familiar. Well, you'd be right if the name didn't give it away. Let me crack the code for you. The HD7S is almost identical to the first Windows Phone device that launched on T-Mobile last November called the HD7. Make a connection there? They added an S. Now you may be wondering, what's the difference between the two? And more importantly, what does the S stand for? The answers to these questions and more in today's review. Since this is a Windows Phone device and the operating system is a similar experience regardless, we will be focusing on the device's features in specific. For a complete look at Windows Phone 7 in general, please check out our Windows Phone 7 review just below this video on our site. Also, since this is an HTC Windows Phone, please take a look at the HTC Hub review just below that, and you can see what unique apps you'll get when you buy Windows Phone 7 from HTC. Okay, so this being an AT&T Windows device, it does come preloaded with a bunch of AT&T apps. The first of which is AT&T Family Map. Okay, so this app is basically a way to GPS track your kids or your sleepwalking grandmother without them knowing. It brings up a map of all the other AT&T devices on your family plan and shows it to you. So it has a 1-month free trial. After that, it's going to cost you $10 a month to track 2 devices or up to 2 devices, and $15 a month to track up to 5 devices. Okay, next is AT&T My Wireless. Basically, this is a simple free app to help you keep track of your minutes, data usage, and change your plans, and stuff like that. All stuff that an AT&T user would find useful. Okay, next up is AT&T Navigator, which is AT&T's turn-by-turn GPS solution that will become obsolete once the Mango upgrade for Windows Phone 7 is released by Microsoft this summer, since that has free turn-by-turn navigation coming. But in the meantime, you can use AT&T's free for 30 days, and it's just $10 a month after that. Next up is another one that I kind of feel is sort of obsolete right out the gate, but it's AT&T Radio. Basically, it allows you to listen to the radio, internet, and local radio. Has a whole bunch of stations and lots of varying stations, so a lot of different things that you can listen to. So that may be useful. I guess you'll have to check it out. It does come with a free trial. After the free trial, you can decide whether you like it or not, and it's $5 a month after the free trial ends. And finally, we come to my favorite AT&T app, which is Uverse Mobile. If you have AT&T Uverse at home, you can use this app to schedule shows to be recorded, check TV listings, and even watch certain TV shows right from the device, and it's all free. If you don't have Uverse though, it's not really a problem. You can still use it to watch shows for $10 a month. And since there is no Hulu Plus for Windows Phone 7 yet, it's not a bad idea. That plus Netflix, and you're pretty good on the mobile TV and movie device front. Let's focus on the hardware. Almost all of the hardware on the HD7S is identical to the original HD7. It's got the same 4.3-inch capacitive touchscreen with 800 by 480 resolution. Dimensions of the device are exactly the same. It's got the same 16 gigahertz of internal storage, the same 1 gigahertz Snapdragon processor, and 576 megabytes of RAM. It has GPS, Bluetooth, and Wi-Fi all on board, and even the same 5.0 megapixel camera with dual LED flash and 720p recording. The only noticeable hardware differences being the AT&T logo at the top and the gold coloring underneath the kickstand on the back. So that's it for the hardware. Well, besides one thing. So you know that S in the name that we were talking about earlier? Well, it's the general consensus that it stands for SLCD, which in turn stands for Super Liquid Crystal Display. And that is different from the LCD display on the HD7. Now you may be curious then, what is the difference between the two displays? Well, we could go on about the different technologies, the shortage of AMOLED screens in the past, and how it led HTC to move to SLCD screens, etc. But we'd like you to stay awake until the end of this video, so let's put them side by side and we'll let you decide. Okay, so here we have the LCD display of the HD7, and here is the SLCD display of the HD7S. Now, to be perfectly honest, there is definitely a difference, but is it an improvement? In some respects, it is. It has warmer tones, the contrast is a bit better, and things are less washed out. But both of these devices are actually on full brightness right now, and yet only one seems quote-unquote bright to me. Either way, it's not a make or break feature for your average consumer especially, because they're not going to notice anything about the screen other than the fact that, oh my god, that's huge. So having them side by side though like this here, you can kind of decide for yourself. Again though, on a screen, as with most of these side by side comparisons of screens, you're watching it through a camera and it doesn't really do it too much justice, but I think you can probably tell that there is a slight difference. You decide. Okay, next up, sound quality. So, music please. Okay, now this is full volume, but since it's an HTC Windows phone, we have our trusty sound enhancer app. And by turning on SRS enhancement, we can get a bit more sound out of it with very minimal loss in quality. Now, since the speaker is on the back, the sound is muffled slightly by the surface it's sitting on. But, like the HD7, the HD7S has a kickstand. And when you use it, the sound gets better, and you can still see the screen. Onto the camera. As with most Windows Phone 7 devices, the camera is quick to load. Even from sleep mode. Also, because it's a Windows Phone 7 device, and like most of them, it has a dedicated camera button, which, as regular readers will know, I think every phone should have. For picture quality though, you, of course, have to see some actual pictures and videos from the device. So we have those listed just below this video on our site. Check those out and come to your own conclusions. On to data speeds. We'll be using a Windows Phone app called Bandwidth. There have been some complaints about the accuracy of the speeds with this app, but since it is one of the only data speed testing apps available for Windows Phone 7, it'll have to do. So here goes. Okay, so that download speed is about average of what we've been seeing. The upload speed, something's a little fishy. We were getting closer to 1.33 megabytes down and 0.5 megabytes up, here at this location anyway. And that is pretty much on par with the other AT&T devices that we've tested here. So, not too bad. Now for the battery life test. We don't use some battery draining app. We like to try to do a quote-unquote real-world test as best we can. We use the device for a few days as our personal device and then see how long it lasted each day and come up with an average. That average is listed below this video on our site. And I have to say, it did about as well as the original HD7, which is decent, not amazing, but decent. And now the verdict. In order to issue a verdict though, I think you have to take a look at the other Windows Phone 7 devices on AT&T. So besides this new HD7S, you have the Quantum, the Focus, and the Surround. Basically, if music is your main priority, then the Surround might be the best bet for you, considering it has the slide-out speaker on the front. The Quantum, if you need a physical keyboard. And then there's the HD7S with its super large screen, its kickstand, and adding UVerse, mobile, and Netflix. It's great if you are into TV shows and movies.